Anyway, joining us right now to talk about Democrats and Republicans' competing priorities and what we may see in Washington this week is former Congresswoman Donna Edwards and former U.S. Senator Judd Gregg. Want to welcome both of you. And I know how you both feel about what's happening right now, what needs to happen. But let's try and stay away from like the party's talking points here and talk about what is going to happen and where you might actually see some movement on things. And Judd, I'll ask you first, because you went through this for a very long time in the Senate. You saw how this all broke down. Do you think, first of all, that the government is going to fall back and not be able to fund the government come Friday morning?
Wouldn't surprise me if that happened for a brief period of time. There is an old saying, you don't take a hostage you're not able to shoot. And Republicans should have learned by now that shooting the hostage of shutting the government down or not funding the debt and threatening the currency is counterproductive usually. You end up shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't suspect that will hang around for a long time, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some gamesmanship that took us through the weekend and into next week.
Do you think that is just because they want to slow down the larger infrastructure bill or the bigger spending bill, $3.5 trillion, that they don't really have a say in?
No, I think it's because there is legitimate hard feeling about the fact that they're being jammed on taxes, $2.3 trillion of new taxes. They're being jammed on a reconciliation bill, which is understated at $3.5 trillion. The actual number is closer to $5 trillion. They're not. Those are both being passed with a 50 vote situation in the Senate and 3 vote majority, as was mentioned in the House. And Republicans, I think, genuinely believe that if they're going to get jammed that way in the largest expansion of government in the history of our country, that they shouldn't have to be asked to participate in funding the debt.
Donna, let me look back, because it seems to me that this is a problem that has been building for many administrations at this point. You can go back to Obamacare getting passed by the Democrats without any help from the Republicans and kind of them feeling like that was getting shoved down their throats. You can go back to the Republicans pushing through the tax cuts and feeling like that got rammed down their throats. And now you have this huge spending bill coming through. Again, no bipartisanship when it comes to some of these big numbers. Is this just going to be anything goes at this point, and we will do anything to try and at least have some leverage in these situations? What happens?
Well, I do think that this is part of, what happens when you have divided government that is that has with narrow margins and where the stakes are so high. I think for Democrats, this is a must-do moment on all of the issues that we've named: the debt ceiling, funding government, infrastructure, the reconciliation. These are all big ticket things, but they also really, portend the future for Democratic Party politics. And I think that what's going to happen here is that at the end of the day, first of all, there's not going to be a bill that comes to the floor in the House if Nancy Pelosi doesn't believe that she has the votes. It's just not how she's ever operated. I think she believes that she can get those votes at the end of the day. But I do see, as Elon described, 96 members of the Progressive Caucus, and I don't think they'll all vote in lockstep. But with only a 3-vote margin, I think it is true that Democrats, at least House Democrats, believe that they will lose their leverage when it comes to the Senate on the reconciliation package if they just go forward and accept the infrastructure package. But I think this is a, sort of, when you say push comes to shove for Democrats, it's really shove right now. And I don't really see a problem with moving forward with only Democratic votes. They have the majority. They have the House, the Senate, and the White House. And the American people and their voters expect them to do something with that.